Hey, planty friend. Today I'm going to share with you about one of my favorite houseplants, my monsteras. If you're thinking about adding a monstera to your houseplant collection, or if you're a newbie plant parent and you're trying to decide what to add, you don't really know where to start, or if you're just curious, this video is for you. So monsteras come in tons of different varieties. They all originate from rainforests. This first one right here is a Monstera Adansonii, also called the Swiss cheese plant, because as you can see, it kind of looks like Swiss cheese. And this lady right here is a Monstera deliciosa. This is what most people think of when they think of a Monstera. However, this one is a tiny, tiny, tiny baby, so you don't see any of the fenestrations in the leaves like you see in some more mature Monsteras. Generally speaking, monsteras are from the rainforest, right? So they do want bright, indirect light. However, if you have them in direct sun or maybe through a south facing window where there's going to be really hot sun on them, you do need to be careful of some sunspots. If you see some brown or like yellowing spots on them, that might be a sign of sunspots, and it might be a sign that your location that you have them in is maybe a little bit too sunny with that direct light coming through. When it comes to watering your monstera, they don't want to stay too moist. They don't want to be soggy, but they also don't want to dry out completely between waterings. So what I usually do that I have seen work with both of my monsteras is I will feel in the soil about 3 inches deep. And if about 3 or so inches deep, if it's pretty dry, I'll go ahead and water it. If there's still some dampness 3 to 4 inches down in the soil, then I'll usually wait a few days and test again. Okay, so you'll see in both of my monsteras that I showed you that I have stakes in them, right? So there's the Adansonii that has a stake in it. And then this one also does as well. Even though this is a tiny baby and she's not really using her stake so much right now, she will soon. When it comes to plants, it's always really important to think about the origin of the plant and where it's from. When we think like that, we can get a lot of clues into what our conditions need to be replicated to make the plant the healthiest and the happiest. So in the rainforest, monsteras actually prefer something to climb up. So they will shoot out what's called aerial roots, which I will show you here in just a second. And those roots will actually like attach onto a tree or another bigger plant, and a monstera will actually grow up it. There are lots of different options for staking. You'll see here that I have just it's like a hard plasticky stake in here. I can stack them on top of each other, and that's what I'm choosing to use for now. I might change it later, but that seems to be working for now. Some people choose to use a moss pole, which I don't really have an example of here in my home, but it's basically you literally put moss inside of a hollow tube, and those aerial roots can actually root into the moss pole, and they can actually grow up that. But if you're not at the point where you want to get into moss pole growing or anything like that, and you just want something simple, find yourself something on Amazon, or in the description of this video, you'll see what my TikTok name is. Go ahead and go to my TikTok page, click on my showcase. You'll actually see these exact plant twigs in there. Okay, I want to show you about the aerial roots. So mine are really small, but you can see those little bumps right there? Those are aerial roots that are going to grow. Another purpose of a plant growing aerial roots is, yes, so it can grow up tall and strong, but also because it can absorb water like moisture and nutrients from the air and put them into the plant for a better, bigger, stronger plant. Both of my monsteras that I've shown you here are babies. This Adansonii, I actually rescued it from one of my local grocery stores. I could tell that it had pretty bad root rot and it was on clearance. It only had like 2 or 3 leaves and it was tiny. I brought it home and I took all the roots out of the soil, discarded that soil, and it did have root rot. Can't ever say that. And so I snipped all the black roots off and cleaned them all off and got it all nice and pretty again, put it in some chunky soil, and it's been super happy ever since. This Monstera was actually a gift to me from one of my best friends. She has a big Monstera and she cut off one tiny little clipping for me. I propagated it in water, grew some beautiful roots for it, put it in this chunky soil, and it has been happy ever since. So since my Monstera deliciosa is a baby plant, I actually don't have any fenestrated leaves on her yet. I'm hoping that the new leaf we have coming in that I'm going to show you here in just a second, I'm hoping that that one is going to be a fenestrated leaf, but usually it takes some maturity for a Monstera to have the fenestrations. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I say fenestrations on the leaves, that just means if you look up a picture of a Monstera on Google, you'll see that the leaf isn't always solid like this one is, right? You can see some creases in this leaf right here. That is where the fenestrations would go, and so it would be holes in there that kind of split the leaf up, right? And that's probably what you think of most when you think of a Monstera deliciosa. And that comes with maturity of the plant. And fun fact that I actually learned is that those fenestrations in the leaves of Monsteras, they're actually for in the rainforest where they're from, they want the bottom leaves to be able to get some sunlight. And so the top leaves fenestrate so that the sun can go through and penetrate through those leaves to get to those bottom leaves closer to the ground. Okay, so when your Monstera is pushing out a new leaf, oh, it's such a cool process. I love it so much. I actually wanted to record this video now because both of my Monsteras actually have leaves uncurling right now, and I wanted you to see them. So this is the leaf right here that is uncurling on my Adansonii. So gorgeous. So you can see that it splits out from an existing stem, and then it makes its own stem and its own leaf. It's so cute. It's so cute. And when they first uncurl, they're like so soft and dainty, and it just makes me so happy. Now I'll show you over here on the Monstera deliciosa. You see that one right there. So that is a leaf that is uncurling as well. I cannot tell right now if it is going to be a fenestrated leaf or not, but either way, I am so proud of her. I hope this was encouraging to you. I hope it was helpful, that you got some information out of it. If it was, or if you just enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you would give this video a thumbs up. If you would leave me a comment down in the comment section. I truly do love communicating back and forth with you guys and getting to know you. What kind of plants do you have in your home right now? Are you a beginner plant parent? Do you have 200? What's your favorite? I want to know it all. So put it in the comments below. And while you're there, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. We would love to have you here. And I do realize you could have watched any video, you could have clicked on anything. You could have been doing anything else for the last 10 or so minutes, and you chose to spend space and time here with me. And for that, I am grateful. So with that said, we're going to end today's video here. And thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.